Alright guys, as promised, we're going to show you where to mount this on this particular reclining couch. So where do we put the base shakers and how do we know the best location? Best thing to do first and foremost is to flip the couch over. Now I don't necessarily mean all the way upside down, although you can do that. In this particular video, I'm actually going to flip it on its back. And then I will show you a couple mounting locations and you can decide where you might want to mount them and how you know if it's a good location or not. So give me a second and I'll flip over the couch. Alright guys, as you see, the couch is flipped over on its back. We're going to show you a couple possible mounting locations from here on where you may want to mount it. Now, you have the ability of obviously mounting it to the back side if you want to, but it's going to be hard because you're going to have to figure out how to get in there. Here's one possible mounting location. Mount it on right here on the side, or even right here on the back. And if you notice, it is mounted. The couch is actually mounted to it, and this is the reclining mechanism. So if this vibrates, all of this is going to vibrate with it. So when you're looking for a wooden spot to mount it to, look to see if there's anything that is connected that will also vibrate. Now, another place you could possibly mount this is right here. Now there is a cloth on this, and one thing I would tell you if you're going to mount it to the cloth is to cut the cloth out and then plug it in here. So that's another mounting location. Now there's the obvious mounting location, which is on either side of, focus a little, on either side of this. You mount one on either side. Now that is connected to the whole couch on either side, and so this may do the whole couch. So that's another option. So that's what I'm actually going to first start with, is mount one here and see how much I like it. Another option is, since we have all this mass on either side and we know that connects to both, we could run a board from here to here. Now the board that you typically need to use for this particular base shaker, which is the Dayton Audio BST1, is a 1x6. And so you'd want to screw the 1x6 into here, screw the 1x6 into here, and then mount it up. And then that would shake, all the sides as well as what it's on right now. You could even mount it closer. You don't want to mount too close to this because that might impede the, your actual comfort level of your seat. So that's another option. Any of those two options. And then of course on this side, if you chose to, would be to mount it here. So if you're going to mount just two on a couch like this style, then you're probably going to want to mount it either here and there or on the two sides. You do have other options, so I don't want to pretend like these are the only two options. Your other options are to fix some wood or something to any of these mounting surfaces, like this for example. Fix some wood to that and vibrate this, because this is the frame, so you want the frame to be shaking. You could mount some wood from here down to there. Oh, that's dusty. And that would also give you another option, or even from here to here, and then mount it up, because you can't mount it down, because at that point in time you would be hitting the floor. So if you wanted to mount it from the top bracket to there, you'd run the 1x6 there, mount it down. Same with that side, and then of course the middle, you would do the middle like we talked about earlier. So how do you know what is the best location and the best way to mount it? It's quite simple. You don't. There is no way for you to know for sure where to mount these. So maybe it's best to mount on that side and that side, just use two. Maybe it's best to put it on the two sides. It's so hard to tell without trying. And so this is one of the fun parts. The fun parts is trial and error, which basically means you try it out. If you think you can do better, you do better. If you don't like where you mounted it, you mount it somewhere else. So for my first mounting location, I am going to mount one here, and I'm going to mount one here. I'm going to leave myself plenty of speaker wire so that I can mount it on either side if I need to. later, and that's how it's going to work. So let me show you how I am going to run the wires. Now I decided to, as you guys know, I decided to put the amplifiers up here, and the reason why I did that is so that I could run the speaker wire down here, which is in front of this falls wall, and then I'm going to put it underneath my molding and go on up, follow the molding on up, and then under the couch. That way no one sees it. There's other ways to run it, but this is really the easiest way if you have the room already complete and you decide that you want to do something like this. Alright guys, that is all for now. I'm going to go ahead and mount them, show you the mounted, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, I'm getting ready to mount this, and this is the bass shaker. You do want to make sure that it does fit, and you do want to make it flat on one surface. So if this was tilted or something, you wouldn't want that. You want this to be in direct contact with the entire surface. You can move it back, you can move it forward, wherever you want. Move it right in the middle. What you are going to want to do is each one of these holes, you're going to want to run a pilot hole with your drill. So I have my drill here, 3/32 drill bit. I'm going to run a pilot hole, and then I'm going to screw it in, at least one screw in to keep it in place while I start doing the other ones. The screws that I'm using are 3/4 inches long, and they're number 6 bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and run the speaker wire and show you what it looks like hooked up. Alright guys, before I do that, I do want to show you this too. You know, some of you might be thinking, why can't you mount it here? And just to kind of explain what I was saying earlier, the whole bass shaker doesn't mount there, and so it would not be good. Now you could run some 1x6, you know, and screw the 1x6 into this and then mount it on that, and then that would work. But you don't want to do that directly on this because this is not wide enough. If it was wider, sure, or if you ran a wider board, that would be okay too. I don't think that you would get as good a contact there, but you might. It's worth a shot. Trial and error. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I'm just hooking up the last one of the bass shakers. I just wanted to show you how these actually hooked up. These are spring-loaded clips, so if you look at it, you push on it, it makes a hole. You put the wire in, and you release it. And same with this side. And you're done. So those are those two bass shakers hooked up. Now, we don't know exactly how this is going to work out, so we're going to test it. I did make the speaker wire extra long in order to, you know, move them if we need to move them, and so we can test other locations. One location that you probably never want to do, this couch is okay because it has, if you notice, it has rubber feet on it. But some couches don't always have the rubber feet, so anything that is directly on the ground is typically not a good idea. And the reason why it's not a good idea is because you're going to send all those signals into the ground, and you're going to lose a lot because of that. Alright guys, I'm going to flip. Oh, and the other reason why we left extra length on the wire is because the couch is going to be pushed back further once we flip it over. So make sure you don't cut your wire extremely tight. Now I did run it along the side like I told you. If you notice, you don't see any wire really here. Do have to clean that up. That's from water damage from a while ago, but don't worry about that. I didn't run it all the way underneath the board yet. I can do that. It's no problem. It's very easy to do. I have decided not to do that until I know for sure it's going to work the way I want it to. And I did hook up both of them to this amplifier. This one's still feeding just the other couch. And that's it. So that's how you hook up bass shakers. Now, if I decide to place these bass shakers in another location, I will show you where I put them and why. But for now, I'm going to go do some testing, and then I'll get back to you if I decide to move them. All right, guys, as always, remember to like the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks.